Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft, filling in for Joy Taylor. On today's show, is there any chance LeBron James could join forces with the Golden State Warriors? Plus, Michael Vick joins the show to talk about the potential quarterback controversy brewing in Philadelphia and what's behind all the hate aimed at the New England Patriots. Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. Could LeBron James become a Golden State Warrior? ESPN reports the Warriors could be in play for LeBron when he's expected to become a free agent this summer. If they can create a max salary slot, LeBron would listen to an offer. A sign and trade would be the most realistic scenario, with Klay Thompson possibly going to Cleveland. Shannon, can you see this actually happening?
LeBron would do his due diligence. Skip, you remember the first time he went to Miami, he actually sat down with 6 teams. The Heat, the Clippers, the Nets, the Bulls. We know he will do his homework. He and his team will leave no stone unturned to make sure LeBron maximizes all his options. Mm-hmm. He wants a chance to compete for titles. Mm-hmm. He wants a front office and ownership that will spend to make sure he's afforded every possibility, every single year, to compete for a title. And if that means spending in the luxury tax, that's what you have to be willing to do. So I'm not surprised by this. He also loves stability. What he's going through right now, Skip, they fired their general manager last year, 3 days before the draft. They issued a statement they were not going to renew his contract. It ran out on the 30th. Mm-hmm. So 3 days before the draft, they issued that statement saying they were not going to renew it, basically terminating his contract.
Yep.
Probably having deals on the table. Now Dan Gilbert steps in and says, okay, who do we call now? They had no general manager, so I guess everybody was calling Dan Gilbert. I just don't see it happening, Skip. I don't.
Because?
It would be, Skip, you can't put 3 best players in the NBA currently on one team.
Why not?
Because you can't. That's not right.
It's doable.
It is.
It's workable.
Anything is possible. They put man on the moon. Mm-hmm. Did you see the election of 2016? So anything's possible, Skip Bayless. No. And here's the kicker. Him going somewhere else and winning 1 title would be better than winning 3 in Golden State. Just like that one that he won in Cleveland, is more valuable than the 2 that he got in Miami.
You just can't stand the prospect of the heat that LeBron would take, so to speak, for going to join forces with that dynasty, right?
I mean, what's the problem?
Well, that's your problem.
No, I don't. Look,
Isn't that why it's sticking in your craw? I can see it, I can feel it, I can hear it.
Yes,
right?
even I might just have to back up.
Really?
Yeah, I might just have to back up.
You
on
back
that
off your man?
I'm going to have to back up. I ain't going to say I'm going to get totally off. But here's another thing, Skip. Would I be surprised if he sat down with the Boston Celtics? Nope.
Okay.
He loves stability in the front office. He loves structure. He doesn't like chaos. I mean, people LeBron likes chaos. He might like to create it, but he likes upper management to be on the straight and narrow.
Yep.
Not a whole lot of dysfunction. And what we know with Golden State, they run a tight ship. The Clippers with Jerry West intact now, they run it the right way. Danny Ainge in Boston, they do things the right way. So San Antonio, he's going to sit down with Pop and R.C. Buford because they do things the right way now. All that's going to be contingent on what they're going to do with
correct.
With
Kawhi
Leonard.
Yep.
But am I surprised? No. Do I see it happening? I don't see it happening.
So I remind you that last week, Chris Broussard was sitting right here, and I brought this possibility up to you both.
Yes.
And you were both taken aback by it for a moment, and you immediately said, if I'm quoting you correctly, no way the commissioner would allow this to happen.
That's exactly what I said.
And yet, as laid out by ESPN.com, you can see how this would actually fit under the cap as a sign and trade.
Yes.
The trades would have to be Klay and Iguodala.
Because the salaries have to match.
Okay. And Kevin Durant would have to opt out of his current contract and then re-sign at less money and take another one for the team. Would he do that? That's debatable. But if you did that, and you'd have to renounce Sean Livingston, and then you'd have to fill the bench with minimum salary players, okay? but that it's doable under the soft cap as opposed to the hard NFL cap, but the soft cap of the NBA will allow this to happen. So I don't think the commissioner could put the kibosh on this one because it's business, right?
Yeah, David Stern wouldn't let Chris Paul go join Paul Gasol and Kobe.
I still don't understand that one, but I don't know what happened behind the scenes on that one, but this is up front, under the cap, this will work. And ESPN.com is quoting sources around the league who are all sitting back saying, this is looming. You know, this has got real possibilities here.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be.
Okay, so
going 79-3, going 70,
right.
77
you said
and 5.
You said that last week, and then Chris Broussard said to me, "You would kill LeBron for doing that." And honestly, I would not. Trust me on this. You can check the tape. I did not kill LeBron for taking his talents to South Beach when he left Cleveland the first time to join forces with, obviously, Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh.
You killed him more for going back to Cleveland.
I did, actually. I did, because I couldn't believe after the bridge got burned by Dan Gilbert, you joined forces with him.
Yeah.
You try to peacefully coexist with that guy who betrayed you completely because he thought you betrayed him.
Correct.
And now look what's happened. It's predictable. It went right back to where it was the first time, right?
Yep.
So the reason I wouldn't, quote unquote, kill LeBron for this is he's chasing that ghost in Chicago, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, and in the end, it's like KD. I did not kill KD for leaving Russell Westbrook in his 10th season to go join forces with those guys out there on the West Coast in Golden State, because all Kevin was thinking is, I haven't won a single championship.
Right.
Guess what? He has now, and he's won a Finals MVP. And when all is said and done, and the smoke clears and the years start to pass, you look back on Kevin Durant's career and you just say, "Oh, rings," right? Yeah, and you don't really think about how he won the rings. You just think about that he did win the rings.
Correct.
Well, so if LeBron, let's do the hypothetical, if he joins forces then with Steph and KD, there'd be no Clay, but there would probably be a Draymond. So those three, okay, good. I got that. But when the smoke clears on LeBron's career, what if he added, dare I say, 3 more rings, even 2 more rings, and say 3 finals appearances? Who knows what could happen?
Well,
but all of a sudden, you'd be getting up in rare air, right?
Well, this is what we know, Skip. He would never, ever win another MVP. I don't believe anybody on that roster would win the MVP. So that would be out. Rings possible. But here, and then this is what you're going to have. You're going to have somebody, you're going to have Boston, or you're going to have some other team, because it's reported that Golden State's going to try to make a play at Anthony Davis. Basically, you'll have like 4 teams and 26 other teams with no chance of winning a title.
Okay, fine. Now, I'm going to flip the script on this, and I'm going to put you back on the hot seat, because we're only looking at it from LeBron's point of view. Let's look at it from Golden State's point of view.
Yes.
Guess what, boys and girls? I believe that Steph and KD, if asked what they think about this, they would say no. In fact, I think they'd say an emphatic no. I think even Draymond, who's now kissed and made up with LeBron like they're buds now, I don't know. But I think even Draymond would say, we don't need him. Look what we're doing. We're creating a dynasty. And now here's the looming truth. I'm starting to see signs of age in LeBron James. And I saw it again last night in the second half. Remember, this is the end of his 15th season. Next year will be his 16th season. And just look at what's happened since Christmas. Have you not seen a little slowing down? Maybe not on the offensive end, but his plus-minus now is the 4th worst in the NBA since Christmas. And you can throw Isaiah into this bad mix, and he can be the new scapegoat, and I get all that. But 4th worst in the NBA, plus-minus, that's out of 515 NBA players, and that's LeBron James. So he's now 3rd in the NBA in turnovers. Well, that's no good, and he had 6 in the first half last night, and we're starting to see more and more just sort of careless, out-of-it turnovers.
But a lot of his turnovers, who he's trying to get the ball to.
Okay, well, it's a fair point. And he's trying to do too much with too little, you can argue. But he's starting to turn the ball over at a dangerously high rate. And then his defensive win shares, just individually, he's dropped to 317th in the NBA. And going into last night, and we're going to talk about last night in a little bit, but going into last night, they had fallen into a tie for dead last in overall defense as a team.
But they should.
Okay,
They've been
should.
terrible.
That's how they were playing. Okay, and last night somehow they held Miami to 89 points, but we'll talk about why. When you shoot 3 for 28 from 3, that helps, but or hurts.
That's more about bad Miami's offense as opposed to good, according to good Cleveland's defense.
Correct. But again, are any of these guys in Golden State LeBron's banana boat buddies? No. Like is there a Dwayne or a CP3 or a Melo? Nope, they're not those guys. Have they all had their differences and little quarrels over the? Yeah, they all have. Are they all getting along pretty well? Yeah. So that it would probably work, just sort of off the court. But I just don't think they would want him on the court.
But OKD go get a chance to see what it's like to play with LeBron again on the All-Star team.
Okay.
Don't think that's an accident.
He'll be one back over.
Don't think that's an accident.
Okay.
I told you who he was going to pick first. You talking about, don't do it. We just trying to see if this thing could work.
So now we're to, if you can't beat them, join them.
Don't
right?
Stop.
Am I right? Well, that's what that smacks of to me.
It don't smack of nothing.
Yeah, and then what did he do with the next pick around? He picks Kyrie next? What are you doing?
He picked Kyrie 5th.
Well, I mean, but it was...
He picked Anthony Davis.
A second, and then the next pick. But Kyrie would have still been on the board for another couple of picks, I think. And he picked Kyrie?
But here's the thing.
Would Kyrie have picked LeBron? No.
Well, he's not going to be the leading vote getter as long as LeBron's in need, so we don't have to worry about that. But anyway, here's the thing. The All-Star game, you're trying to win, but you're trying to put on a show. And what can Kyrie do better than anybody in the NBA? He can dribble the basketball. So he's going to be able to put on a show.
That's not why LeBron picked him.
We trying to win.
Please.
We're trying to win the game.
LeBron's thinking, we got to put on the best show, so I want Kyrie.
No.
That's not what he's doing.
He says, I said, first, we're trying to win.
Yeah.
That's what this is about. Remember, they increased the winner's share to $100,000, so they want the game to be more competitive. He felt having Kyrie gave him a great chance to win. So that's why he got KD first, AD second, got Kyrie third, which was 5th overall. LeBron is trying to win the game, Skip. If you want the game to be taken serious, you take the draft process serious. You get the best guys that's going to give you the best chance to win. And that's how LeBron built his team. And it's giving him a head start when he owns a team. But he won't be able to pick just all-stars because you don't know what they're going to be. You're picking them raw.
Yeah. So, back to poor LeBron's plight.
Stop saying poor LeBron. It ain't poor.
He didn't have enough help. And now he's got an owner/GM in Dan Gilbert, who has obviously taken over the basketball operations, who is, I'm pretty sure, he's undercutting him because he's leaning toward, well, you won't commit to me, so I'm not going to commit the one big chip that I got to trade, this Brooklyn first-round pick. I'm not going to trade it because I got to keep it to cover myself in case you leave me, which you probably are.
Yeah, and then he all chummy. He like, oh, how you doing, IT? Yeah, we go be
good. They're buds. Yeah, they're going places.
They ain't going nowhere.
By the way, Isaiah's not going anywhere on the basketball court. He's just not right, man. He's not healthy.
But and then
not right. That's scary.
He's trying to do things. Here's the problem, Skip. Isaiah is 5'9", so he's an undersized man in the land of giants. If he's not explosive, if he's not quick, he's an ordinary guy.
And I'm talking about lateral and vertical quickness because he's getting to the rim and he doesn't even have any vertical. He can't go up quick.
Guys throwing his shot out, blocking the shot like it's nothing.
I mean, it's looking kind of pathetic.
And that's the thing. I mean, he spends more time on the floor. I thought Dwayne Wade spent a lot of time on the floor. He got D-Wade beat because, every time D-Wade make a layup, D-Wade slide like he's a soccer player. But IT, Skip, this is getting embarrassing, Skip. And again, last night, 2 of 15. Whoa. 2 of 15.
0 for 6.
Not looking good.
Nope, not
if
looking
you look
good.
look at LeBron's numbers, every single LeBron number since Isaiah's been back, field goal percentage, free throw percentage, 3-point percentage, points a game, assists a game, rebounds per game. Everything is down, Skip. That's not an accident.
Okay, so you're stuck. And if that pick
I'm stuck for another 4 months.
Okay,
I ain't gonna be stuck after that.
You're stuck, and it's not looking good for you to get back to your, what would this be, your 8 straight finals.
Right.
So the dilemma is a lot of reports about would LeBron join banana boat buddy CP3 in Houston with James Harden. Okay, so where does that get LeBron? Because all he can do to keep building his legacy is he needs to at least get back to finals. Because if you got to an 8 straight final, that's pretty great.
I mean, would you think less of him if he didn't get to? So what about the 7 that he did get to?
Okay, but I'm just saying when you're 3 and 5, you better get to a bunch in a row because that's all you're going to be able to sell when the smoke clears, right?
We won't get to him. The only way we can win is we got to get to him. So we keep knocking down the door.
Okay, so help me out. If you go to Houston with those 2 guys who have always come up small in the postseason, CP3 and James, and you join forces with them, what are your odds of getting past that group in Golden State with those guys? What are the odds? I don't like your odds.
I like their odds better than what they got in Cleveland.
Okay, but at least in Cleveland, all you have to get by is Boston and maybe Toronto. Maybe they're starting to look a little better, a little more dangerous.
I mean, Boston is going to be our biggest challenge.
Okay.
And the question is, how healthy is Kyrie? Because he's coming up with little nick injuries. He had the quad.
Okay.
He had the shoulder injury, but they feel
so if LeBron is, in fact, going to leave Cleveland, to me, the smart move, the shrewd move, the LeBron move, you better stay east, man. You just better.
And go where?
Go to the finals. That's where you go.
I'm saying, but if he stays in the East, okay, so are you saying trade him by the trade deadline or next year?
No, I'm just talking about if he chooses after this year.
Oh,
to
okay.
walk,
I thought you were talking
you
about
better
this year.
walk east instead of west, because if you, where are you going to go unless you go to Golden State?
Right.
And I don't think Golden State's going to want you. But if you stay east, like you said, would you go to Boston? I mean, that would have possibilities, but the big looming possibility would be the Sixers, Philadelphia. Okay, that's all the firepower. That's the young firepower.
He needs shooters, though. They don't have enough shooters. He needs shooters.
You know, unfortunately, they drafted one with the first overall pick, and I don't know what happened to him.
He ain't no shooter.
Well, he was in college. He was a pretty good shooter.
And
then he wrecked his shoulder, and he lost his stroke, and he lost his confidence. I don't know. They might have to just disband on that one.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, he had that funky shot to begin with, Skip. And I guess he messed his shoulder up trying to correct it, trying to get a better shot, and he messed with his mechanics and end up wrecking his shoulder. So we don't know if and when he'll come back and what he'll be. But I mean, LeBron likes Embiid. I'm sure he does. Ben Simmons is nice, but they need more.
Ben Simmons is really nice.
Yeah.
They got some other nice pieces on there. That would be his best shot to me.
Why won't Dan Gilbert trade IT for Kimba?
What would that really change life
Yes!
in Philadelphia? It would not.
Yes. No. I'm talking about in Cleveland.
Yeah,
trade IT
no,
right now.
I meant in Cleveland. Yeah. Well, again,
Skip, you see Isaiah.
who wants Isaiah
Skip,
now?
Skip.
Does Michael Jordan want Isaiah?
I mean, we close to Isaiah right now the way he playing, Skip. We close. I mean, I might can take him one-on-one.
Oh, you mean you
Yeah,
just take it?
You personally?
Yeah,
Wow.
I can take him one-on-one.
I know you could outrun him even.
Yeah.
You couldn't outrun Jason Witten. I know, but
What did he say yesterday, Skip?
he was trying to be nice to you.
Tell the truth, Skip.
He was trying not to humiliate you on live national TV.
I started to tell him, I said, when you drive out to California to race me, stop by and pick up Antonio Gates. And Tony, so I can bust all three of you guys at one clip, be declared the winner on my 50th birthday, and retire happily ever after.
Would you? Huh.
I'd like to watch.
Yeah, I would too.
Blow the doors off all three of them.
Well, those would be the first steps you've run since you retired as a
Oh,
player.
no. I can beat them.
I don't think so.
You heard him, Skip.
Jason Witten is sneaky fast.
No. Ain't nothing, no. No, he ain't sneaking up on anything.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I'm afraid LeBron is not sneaking up on anybody right now. I think he's showing his age, and he's going to have a harder time. This isn't I'm taking my talents to South Beach. This is who wants my talents. That's where
Everybody
we're
gonna want
No,
it.
I don't think so.
Everybody.
Not Golden
Yeah,
State.
they do.
No.
Now they just don't, because here's the thing. It was reported that they offered Paul George, Indiana offered Paul George straight up for Klay Thompson, and they rebuffed that. I just think the thing is what they built. Klay is homegrown. He, Draymond, and Steph, they came up together. Now,
What's not to like? Like, why mess with it?
here's the thing, though, but moving forward, Klay's gonna be gonna be in line for one of them $40 million deals.
One more year.
So
Yeah.
does he? Skip, I love
Not
it.
after this year, after next year.
I like rings, Skip, but after you get 3 of them, do I stay here for $20 million a year, or do I go somewhere else and make 40, 35? I don't know about you, Skip, but after I get like 3 or 4 rings, I can't eat them rings. I need money. I need a place to put those rings. So in a big old house,
Well, you know what they say about money. It can't always buy happiness, right?
well, they can rent it for a little while.
Okay. Well,
Well, I tell you what, I'd rather be sad on the Rolls Royce than unhappy on the bus.
okay.
What you rather be?
I'd rather win rings.
Man, you crazy.
I'm all about the
How
rings.
many rings do you need, Skip?
I want to dominate. That's what I want.
You only got 1 ring.
I don't have any rings.
Ernestine gave you a ring. You don't even wear it.
But you're not taking the rings on the bus, so I have to agree.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not taking
I'm
them
gonna be, hey. Oh man, Sharpe looks so unhappy in that Rolls Royce. Look at that guy
So
just
unhappy.
bouncing up and down on the bus. No, thank you. LeBron, we got this. I talked to him and let him know. I'll let you know what we're going to do, Skip.
I don't know.
We might end up in San Antonio if Kawhi get right.
You know what? Ginobili's drinking what they call grandpa juice.
I bet.
He's playing Brady-esque at 40. I think LeBron needs some grandpa juice now. I'm serious.
LeBron just
he's looking 40-ish to me.
LeBron just needs to remove someone from the equation, and LeBron will be just fine.
Okay. So now it's Isaiah's fault, just like it used to be Kevin's fault. Who's fault next?
LeBron never blamed Kevin Love. That was Isaiah that blamed Kevin Love.
Yeah.
Talk about why would you support your teammates?
Well, yesterday LeBron blamed everybody. They're all lazy. All of them lazy. That's the ultimate finger-pointing, blame deflecting by LeBron James. Don't look at me. I'm not lazy. They're all lazy.
No mercy. Hey guys, Joy Taylor here with a quick word from Pro Flowers and Sherry's Berries. With Valentine's Day right around the corner, the last thing you want to do is pick the wrong gift. Making a big impression is key. Pro Flowers and Sherry's Berries have teamed up to help you really impress your Valentine this year with their perfectly paired collection. Go ahead and think inside the box this Valentine's Day. This really is a one-of-a-kind gift. Your flowers and dipped strawberries will arrive together in a beautiful, specially designed box that will keep your flowers fresh and your berries cold, guaranteed. Right now, Undisputed listeners can save 20% on any one of their perfectly paired combinations or any gift over $29 with promo code UNDISPUTED. And take it from me, these flowers are gorgeous and the dipped strawberries can't be beat. Pick the delivery date and it's guaranteed, and customer satisfaction is always number one or your money back. There's only one way to get 20% off a perfectly paired gift over $29 featuring beautiful blooms from Pro Flowers and freshly dipped strawberries from Sherry's Berries. Visit proflowers.com today and enter code UNDISPUTED at checkout. That's proflowers.com, code UNDISPUTED, and you'll get 20% off this perfectly paired gift. Now let's get back to the show.
No mercy. Well, the Patriots are just 3 days away from another Super Bowl appearance, but there's still talk of dysfunction in the organization. Yesterday, both Robert Kraft and his son Jonathan told NFL Network there's no dysfunction in New England. But Robert said there's, quote, tension, and added tension helps make great things happen. Shannon, do you believe in Kraft? Is there tension brewing?
Yeah, absolutely. But that's not what he said, Skip. That's not what his statement said. That's not what his statement said. I mean, he released this after Seth Wickersham's article came out. He said in recent days there have been multimedia reports that have speculated theories that are unsubstantiated, highly exaggerated, or flat-out inaccuracies.
Okay.
He goes on the NFL Network 4 or 5 days later and says, you know, we can keep this thing going, but we got to get our ego in check.
He did.
Now he's talking about there's tension. Now, he closed this statement, says, as our actions have shown, we stand united. How, if there's tension? See, tension is a precursor to something that's really coming down the road that you're not going to like.
Yep.
You see, what has happened is that you have stood united because whatever Coach Belichick has wanted, you've granted him permission to do. If he wants to get rid of somebody, and he believes in this wholeheartedly, I'll get rid of somebody a year too early as opposed to a year too late. He allowed Coach Belichick not only to trade Drew Bledsoe, he traded him to the Buffalo Bills, who they were going to see twice a year for the very foreseeable future. He had no problem with that. We're going to trade Richard Seymour. We're going to trade for Randy Moss. We're going to let Ty Law walk. We're going to let Lawyer Malloy go. William again. All that. Mr. Kraft never said a word. It wasn't until he sent for his guy, his son of sons, Tom Brady.
He did.
That he had to go. He had to go back at the no sir bill. That will not happen on my watch.
Nope.
Because at the end of the day, I admire what you do. And that big old paycheck that you get, guess who paid it? So when it comes down to it, guess who has final say on everything? Now, I've let you have your say. Skip, you can be told yes a million times, but that one time that you're told no, Jenny, it really stings. This stung because he believed, Coach Belichick believed in his heart of heart, that he had the guy that was going to be the bridge. Jimmy Garoppolo was going to be the bridge from Tom Brady to the Patriots' future. And Mr. Kraft said, nope, tear it down, build another one. He said it. Now, I'm trying to figure out all these years, we've never heard of anything like this get out of the Patriots. Not once.
Not once.
Now, all of a sudden, while he's trying to mask it, we're going to talk about this a little later, but Jonathan and Mr. Kraft say Tom Brady is going to call his termination. He gets to retire on his terms. Somebody ain't going to like that. Because they've been talking about all this time, I want to play until my mid-40s. Mr. Kraft, Robert, the owner says, well, he's going to play, he wants to play till he's 50. You hear Coach Belichick say nothing. Coach Belichick ain't said nothing about playing tomorrow.
Well, he thought this was the swan song year. This was it.
I've never heard of tension being good.
Really?
Nah. I mean, guitars, you like, tight strings like that, but not when it's dealing with people. Because Skip, you know what happens when tension.
Yeah.
Something's coming down the turnpike.
So, I agree with your first point. By using the word tension, Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots, acknowledged the truth, the core of truth in the Seth Wickersham ESPN article. That's what he's saying, as opposed to all those quotes you read, all those public denials.
Exactly.
Now he's saying, okay, we got tension, but we don't have dysfunction.
No.
And I'm going to buy that part.
Of course. Oh, no.
Because dysfunction to me is disaster. It's chaos. It's internal self-destruction, usually, in this case, triggered by runaway, run-amok egos. Somebody needs more credit than somebody else has or is getting. And all I know is this team is about to play its 8th Super Bowl in this run with this coach and this quarterback, right?
Yep.
So it can't be dysfunction.
No.
Now, where I disagree with you, but we may have different circumstances, I came up in a business that was fraught with what I would call and was called creative tension. I don't know if you've seen the movie that's out right now, The Post. Did you see
I did.
The Post? Okay.
Great.
So it's great. And Meryl Streep, Tom Hanks, and they're playing
Got it
Catherine Graham.
nominated again.
Yeah, Catherine Graham, Ben Bradley of the Washington Post. Okay. So I came up, and I wasn't at that paper, but I was at the Los Angeles Times and several other papers, Chicago Tribune. And trust me, those newsrooms ran on creative tension. There was yelling and screaming and criticizing and pushing and pulling, and out of it sprang greatness, some Pulitzer Prizes, not for me, but for others. That's what happens in those newsrooms. Jimmy Johnson created the greatest, scariest creative tension I've ever been around with those young Cowboys in the early 90s.
How did that end?
Well, Jimmy's going to be a short timer in that regard because it's going to be go, go, go. He's going to push, push, push. Now, if the owner had backed off and let him keep pushing and the owner didn't want to share credit, then it could have lasted much longer.
Maybe we have the Patriots before the Patriots become the Patriots.
You might. But all of the veteran, big ego Dallas Cowboys of that era, Michael Irvin, all the way up to Charles Haley.
Troy.
Yeah, right, all of them. They feared Jimmy because he was a thunderstorm waiting to explode all over everybody. And you didn't know, and it was great because everybody was a little bit on edge. Well, that's good, but I don't think that's going on here.
No.
I don't get creative tension. So, once again, because nobody else will defend Tom Brady, I'm going to defend him on this count. Because there's definitely tension between the coach and the quarterback.
Oh, yes.
Escalated by what just happened where the owner picked his son over the coach.
That is correct.
Okay, so why do they coexist? It's because the quarterback still has, to me, almost a childlike reverence for the authority of the head coach. Like he grew up thinking that the coach cannot be questioned. Whatever the coach says goes. And Tom Brady still accepts that and doesn't challenge that. I saw a quote from Fran Tarkenton the other day, and younger viewers won't remember Fran, but you being from Minnesota, you remember Fran.
Good sign.
But he got to 3 Super Bowls,
Yeah.
Fran Tarkenton. He lost all 3, but he was pretty good, right? And he said, if I had been Tom Brady, I would have been out of control. I would have been impossible to coach because, man, if I had 5 rings, you couldn't tell me what to do. He would have rebelled against anything his coach told him. I don't think Tom rebels at anything. There's quiet warfare going on between them, but there's not open public warfare, except coming from the other side. Go ahead.
But you know what happened, Skip? Once this power struggle that was going on between Coach Belichick and Tom Brady, and Mr. Kraft chose Tom Brady's side, Tom Brady walked by Bill Belichick.
Probably he did,
Daddy
but
picked me.
he didn't do it publicly. He
No,
didn't do it to the media.
Nope.
But The coach has started firing at the quarterback over the lacerated hand, the 12 stitches, and what did he say? It wasn't open heart surgery. And then he says, it wasn't. This was more media circus than football crisis. Well, those are direct shots at the quarterback.
Well, he started this a couple years ago. Because when Deflategate came out, he said, I don't know about no football.
Look at me. Ask the quarterback. What?
That doesn't start well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably, you think that's where it started?
With Deflategate? I do. I don't think Tom, I heard this from a couple of his friends. He did not love that the coach didn't immediately stand up and have his back.
Yeah, of
now,
course.
the owner stood up. Remember, that happened on Saturday.
Right.
In between, it's the week off, at the end of the week off before the Seattle Super Bowl.
Correct.
Then they flew to Phoenix.
Right.
And Robert Kraft did a
soon as he got the plane,
impromptu press conference, completely defending his organization against the Deflategate charges. So the point is, the coach didn't have the quarterback's back, and as I've told you before, several of Tom's friends have told me over the really last 10 years, he can't understand why there's no social relationship there at all. There's an arm's length relationship.
Tom can't understand,
Yeah.
but you understand why.
I do.
Because the very reason that Mr. Kraft cannot let go,
That's correct.
because he's gotten too close. They've gone on vacation. He's FaceTiming him. Oh, Daddy, I got
agree.
a boo-boo on my thumb. Oh,
It took 12 stitches to close the boo-boo. I think that's more than a boo-boo, but go ahead.
Can you come see about me?
And he did. He flew right back to make sure little Tommy was okay, right? He did. So the point is that Tom Brady doesn't openly challenge or publicly challenge the head coach.
Right.
It wouldn't work if he did. He could blow this thing up at any point because he'd say, I got 5 rings. I was the biggest reason we won 5 rings, and you're not giving me enough credit.
I believe if he were to publicly challenge Coach Belichick would walk away.
Maybe. Well, then this whole thing would walk away, right? Am I right?
We're going to discuss that a little later also, Skip. But it just goes to show you why they tried to put a positive spin on it. It's inaccuracies, some flat-out lies.
Yep.
We stand united. No.
Yep.
Because like I said, Mr. Kraft has told Coach Belichick a million times yes. But that one time that he told him no hurt the most. And that's what happens. We love the wins, but it's the losses that hurt. The yeses, we love those, Skip, but it was that one time he told him no. You cannot release him or you cannot trade him. You will trade the other guy, and Tommy's going to stay put as long as he wants to stay put.
Okay. But Tom Brady keeps biting his lip before he talks to the media, and not one time has he openly challenged the head coach on any point that I can ever remember. Do you remember any?
No.
Okay, is that not why? So the tension works. There's coexistence.
Right.
There's tension between those two. You can't tell me there's not. And I think that Bob Kraft just acknowledged that.
And Skip, when you're in the moment, when things are going good, you put that aside. It's when you stop. Once this season's over and Coach Belichick, he gets an opportunity to sit back and assess what transpired and, okay, how do we keep this thing going? Because I don't believe Coach Belichick thinks that Tom Brady's going to play until his mid-40s. How do we go on now? Because I had the guy. No question in my mind, I had the guy that was going to take us and win this one more Super Bowl.
Yep.
And then what? Because all Coach Belichick needs is one. One without 12, and there's no question in anybody else's mind.
I'm convinced if you put Bill Belichick on a lie detector that he would express very mixed emotions about whether he even wants to win this Super Bowl or not. Not that you don't, because part of you does. I mean, it's the Super Bowl, and it's your legacy too. But there's part of him that's rooting against Tom Brady. There is. There has to be.
Maybe
wanted him gone.
Maybe he wins and he gets beat up pretty bad. He's like, that's enough. I can't take this punishment anymore.
Maybe.
But this is not good. And for the owner, because normally Mr. Kraft could have kept shooting it down. Oh, there's no egos. Hey guys, we're winning. And people are going to try to tear us down. But for him to at least acknowledge it, Skip, nothing comes out of the Patriots. We've got nothing out of this organization for 18 years. And then in the last 3 weeks, we've gotten more than we've gotten in 18 years. Why is that? Somebody wanted this story to get out about Coach Belichick, Mr. Kraft, and Tom Brady. Somebody wanted that story out.
I already told you where I thought it came from.
Well,
it came from the coaches.
I don't think it came from him. I'm sorry, I'm Team Belichick.
Oh, you're defending Bill Belichick.
You had to pick a side. You Team Aniston or you Team Jolie? I'm Team Belichick. You Team Brady. Coach Belichick's going to win this battle.
There's only one team here, and it's Team Brady.
Belichick.
He made all this happen.
He drafted Brady.
If they lose,
Yeah,
I
the
think
sixth
this
round.
story, the layers, it's going to start building and coming
If they
out of it
lose,
more.
you got some. You
Everything.
might have dysfunction.
Oh, real dysfunction. All right,
Everybody might go.
No mercy.
USA Today's Jarrett Bell wrote that there's, quote, Patriot hate going on around the country this week. Bell cited Spygate, Deflategate, and the Tuck rule as some of the reasons the Patriots get so much negative attention. Also, the website BetOnline found that North Dakota is the only state outside of New England rooting for the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Interesting.
Robert Kraft was asked about all the hate and said, quote, I wouldn't use the word hatred. Everyone wants to root for the underdog, so I understand it. We're joined now by our Patriot hater,
Number one.
Who,
Cub
me?
Parker.
President
Yeah,
of
I
the,
mean,
the hate club.
But hear him out, Skip. Hear him
I would
out.
like to hear you out today. What is your biggest reason why you hate the Patriots?
Hate is a strong word, but I'll
It
say
is.
this. It's the Patriots have won a lot. I give them all that credit and all the Super Bowls that they've won. But I think people always feel like if you were to ask to check their underwear, you wouldn't be sure that they're clean.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. I know, Skip, I'm going a long way there for you. But that's the issue, is that on the outside or the surface, you might think everything is cool and they've won and wow, this is great, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. But behind there's something sinister, sneaky, dirty, that doesn't feel right. And I will compare them to, say, the New York Yankees when they were winning all those World Series with Derek Jeter. It's a perfect comparison. From they had Jeter, who was this great player like Tom Brady, squeaky clean, right? Won all these championships, all this other stuff. But I don't think anybody ever hated the Yankees because they didn't think that they were on the up and up and they didn't win the right way.
It's true.
When you look at the Patriots, it's all, you just heard this week, Pace, Spagnuolo. What other championship teams do guys come back from the past to say, I'm not buying that they did it on the up and up? And I think that's what hurts the Patriots and their fan base, and people try to make excuses for all of it. And we can go on and on and on. Here are my two things to say that we're not crazy to discount the Patriots. Eric Mangini, who worked there and called them out on how they do their business. And then here's the other example that no one ever talks about and people even forgot about. You know it because it happened to your former team. Josh McDaniels goes there as the head coach. What happened in 2010?
He was over in London.
And what did he do?
He sent the video guy, and they got caught. The NFL caught him trying to tape the 49ers walkthrough.
Exactly. And you know what? That was 2010. He got fined $50,000, and the team got fined $50,000. Where did he get that from?
Like father, like son.
Well, that's my point. Is that
And Mr. Bolin fired him.
all right?
As soon as they got back.
And he got fired.
Yes.
And this is my point: is that didn't just happen in a vacuum out of nowhere. That's what they do. And I've said this over and over again, that when it's all said and done, and when Belichick retires and Brady retires, somebody will step up and write that book. And Tom Brady might wind up or will wind up, right, as being Lance Armstrong without the bicycle when they pull everything back and see all the other stuff that we don't know about that they used to do. That's the dislike. I wish they could have won on the up and up without any of these controversy, and people would then look at the Patriots and admire them.
When I encounter people, when they ask me who I think is going to win, I say, well, I think Philly has a great chance. They're like, good. I just want to see somebody else win.
Okay.
They want to see someone else win. And I think the cheating scandal has hurt the Patriots with the neutral fan. See, the Boston fan, the New England area, they don't care. We got the championships. You're not taking it away. So what? Because even the allegations with Big Papi bounce off him where it sticks to everybody else that had the mere
Thank you.
mention.
Manny and Big Papi both got busted.
But they don't care. We got the World Series,
Yep.
so what? Kiss the rings, as they like to say. They get viewed as getting favorite calls on the field. We look at the situation with Jesse James in Pittsburgh game, Now, if that had been the Patriots, they say that had been a touchdown. They wouldn't have overruled it. The Tuck rule.
Well, now that was outrageously wrong.
Yeah.
That's the one that launched the dynasty, and I'll give you that one.
Yes.
The Tuck rule.
That was wrong.
And so people feel that they get preferential treatment on the field. It would have been interesting to see, and I know you mentioned the Yankees, if social media would have been involved. See, Skip, it's hard to know right now. How would they have felt about the Bulls winning 6 championships in 8 years?
It would be different.
So you know, it's kind of hard to say. You know, we get to look at things now through the prism of social media because everybody now, we can see what everybody thinks. Everybody has an opinion. They get on here, they get on Instagram, Facebook, or whatever your social media network is, and you can voice your opinion. So we know that a lot of people have displeasure with the Patriots and their level of success for a variety of reasons. But it would have been interesting to see how would they have looked at the Bulls of the 90s? How would they have looked at the Yankees of the late 90s, early 2000s, winning all the time? Would they have had this kind of backlash? I don't believe they would, because there was no. Well, maybe if they'd come out and, you know, Michael was smoking cigars and drinking, had late night, going to casinos, maybe they would have been viewed differently had they had social media catching all of everything that he was doing. We'll never know, but I think that has a lot to do with it, Skip. I think people are tired of the Patriots winning every year. People don't care that it's hard to win every year. They just want to see someone else win. And a cheating scandal. I think that really hurt them with the neutral fan. New England, like I said, they don't care.
By the way, North Dakota is rooting for the Patriots because North Dakota is rooting against Nick Foles because it's rooting for its favorite son.
Oh, there you go. Right.
I'm glad you figured that out, because I was like,
There you go,
North
Skip.
Dakota.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I hear you about Spygate, Deflategate. I hear you about the Tuck rule. But what gets me is when Robert Kraft says we're like the Yankees, I say, no, you're not. Because the Yankees, going back to the 27 Yankees or the 61 Maris Mantle Yankees or the 90s Derek Jeter Yankees, they're the best team money can buy because it's an uncapped sport. And you're always going out spending the most on the most stars. And you are star-laden, back to Ruth and Gehrig, Maris Mantle, and all the way up to Jeter and all the core 4 guys. So you're loaded with talent, and you go get Roger Clemens when you need him. And in this case, the Patriots have done so much with so little because their defense, again, they haven't had the 85 Bears defense. They haven't had your Ravens 2000 or the 2002 Tampa Bay Derek Brooks defense. It's not like that. You have perhaps the greatest defensive mind coaching the defense, and then you have the greatest quarterback ever doing it with a lot of smoke and mirrors and a lot of guys that you look like they just picked up off the street, the little Edelmans and Amendolas and Chris Hogans. And you look at, have they dominated in Super Bowls the way we saw? Remember what Joe Montana did to John Elway? It was 55-10, right?
No.
And how many times? Remember Steve Young, all those 49. What they did, what was 49-26 over San Diego? Yeah, it was just a wipeout. It was a mismatch.
Troy did to Jim Kelly, 59, 17?
Oh, God, yeah, right. So then you look back at all these 7 Super Bowls. Check this out. So they beat the Rams by 3, the Panthers by 3, the Eagles by 3. They lost to the Giants and Eli by 3. Then they lost to them again by 4. Then they beat the Seahawks by 4. And then they beat the Falcons by 6 in overtime. Well, every game goes to the wire, and they get no credit for doing so much with so little because they're often not even the better team on the field. And also, they got the better coach and the better quarterback,
and also, Skip, what Mr. Kraft failed to realize, the Yankees were winning in the 20s, the 30s, the 40s. The 50s.
No, I got that.
The Patriots,
I got that.
You've been a franchise for almost 60 years.
Yeah.
You would like for us to think that you only been a franchise for 20 years, and you've been winning all this in 20 years. But the 90s existed. The 80s, the 70s, and the 60s existed.
I don't think he was saying that. He just said it's Yankees-like that we're getting that kind of hatred back on us because there's always been Red Sox-Yankees hatred rivalry, right?
Yeah, the Boston fans, they despise them.
But in some ways, when you look at what Tom Brady does with how little and Belichick does with he's just mixing and matching guys, how many big stars, how many Hall of Famers, right?
And that's but Skip, doesn't the scandals, though, take away from that? Just because now you're saying if they were blowing everybody away in the Super Bowl, then you would be like, dude, a couple of plays or whatever won't make a difference. When you're telling me every Super Bowl's 3 points, a play or two can make a world of a difference.
But I've never seen a dynasty get so little credit as this one gets. Credit. Just it's always something's wrong. But it's this, it's that, it's cheating.
But see, Skip, if we could, we could write, and I get your point. You look at Tom Brady, a few guys like Gronk on offense, the couple of years that they had Randy Moss, Ty Law's up for the Hall of Fame, and you got Coach Belichick.
Right.
If they were littered with Hall of Famers like the 70 Steelers, we can see them dominate.
Oh,
we
yeah.
see
Right.
why the Steelers won 4 in 6 years. Yeah. They got 5 Hall of Famers on offense. They got 4 on defense.
They do.
They had the head coach and the owner. So now we see why they're dominating. Or the 80s, the 80 49ers with the Bartolo in the Hall of Fame, and Walsh and Montana and Rice and Haley.
Right.
We get it.
I mean, these are starless
Right.
teams except for the quarterback.
Right.
Basically.
And Ronnie Lott. So, Skip, if they were littered with Hall of Famers, we could see why. But hold on. They just got a handful of guys. How they winning? So, they did get caught before. Have they found another way to beat the system? That's what everybody's asking.
No, but when Brady throws it to Amendola and Edelman and Hogan, you can't cheat to do that. I mean, you still have to throw the pass and they have to catch it, right?
But people probably still like, they know something.
Skip, do you think what I just said about at some point there will be a book, that there will be exposed at some point? I know people doesn't happen all the time while people are still playing.
They didn't think a book was going to come out about Lance Armstrong, did it?
Well, do you think one's coming out on Tom Brady? Because I don't.
I do. I think that there will be more about Tom Brady as time
Brady
goes
per
on.
se or the Patriots?
The whole thing. That there was just stuff going on, the whole thing. And people will, I think that their legacy and their will be downgraded after people find out more facts. I just think there's more to the story. Doesn't mean that Tom Brady's not a great quarterback. I told you, because you still have to make the throws.
Yes.
All these throws, all these comebacks. No. Man, I don't know. You can cheat all you want, and it's hard to pull this off.
But the Josh McDaniels thing doesn't say anything to you?
No,
What
it
does that
does.
say to you?
I've told you, the head coach has got some scoundrel in him. He just does. I can't put him on the ultimate pedestal because he's cheated.
Okay.
Rob,
That's
thank
fair.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thank you,
joining
Jen.
us. Thank you. It will, depending on how the game goes, I'll look forward to seeing you Monday or not.
Yeah, I guess.
Either way.
No mercy.
Well, Nick Foles will go up against one of the greatest quarterbacks ever in Sunday's Super Bowl. Foles took over as the Eagles starter after Carson Wentz went down with an injury in Week 14. The question becomes, what happens to Foles if he wins on Sunday? Will the Eagles have a quarterback controversy, or will Foles just go back to being the backup? We're joined by Fox NFL analyst Michael Vick. You were a teammate of Foles, so it's great to have you and get your take on this. What happens to Foles if he wins Sunday?
If he wins, it'll be the greatest thing for Philadelphia. It'll be the greatest thing for Nick Foles. But I don't want to get into Carson Wentz not being a starter next year. They drafted him for a reason, and we can't forget that Carson Wentz got them to 11-1. Nick Foles took over. It was a comfortable situation for Nick, and I think Nick is best in those roles. I think he's best when he's a backup, when he has a chance to just come in and, the pressure's not really on. He can come in and free flow. He did it in 2013. He did it well. He'll definitely have options, but I don't think this will be a quarterback controversy. I think the Philadelphia Eagles realize that they're in the position that they're in because of Carson Wentz. And Nick Foles just took it over, and he did a job that the backup is supposed to do.
So I know you like Nick Foles, but you still view him as a career backup quarterback.
I think he's most comfortable as a backup in that situation. I think when he had the opportunity to go and start in St. Louis, it wasn't the easiest thing for him. He showed, that under that type of pressure, it wasn't the easiest thing for him to go out and do, and he couldn't handle it. But maybe this time around, because he said he found a new love for the game,
He did.
It may help him, and I think just going through this, having the chance to be with Doug Peterson again, winning these big games is going to help his confidence moving forward. And, experience is the best teacher, and he's getting a great deal of it right now.
Nick Foles goes back to being the backup. Carson Wentz was the MVP before he tore his leg. Now, Skip, the knee injury.
So you said, but go ahead.
Yeah, and so I know. I know these things. Carson Wentz's injury was more serious than we previously thought because he tore his ACL and his LCL. So there's a chance he might not even be healthy at the start of training camp, maybe even at the beginning of the season. So there's no quarterback controversy. When Carson Wentz is healthy, he will be the starter. You don't trade what they trade to get this young man, and all of a sudden, a guy comes in and plays well for 3 games, and all of a sudden he's going to be your starter. We saw Doug Williams started 3 games, And then after he won the Super Bowl, he started 5 more games.
Yeah.
That happens. He's not going to be the starter in Philly. He's not the long-term solution. They found their guy, the long-term 6'5", 240-pound North Dakotan. That's the guy that
North
you got to deal.
Dakotanian.
That's what you got to deal with for the next 10 years, Skip Bayless. I know what you
love
want to happen. He wants there to be a controversy because he don't want Carson Wentz to kick his Cowboys' butt. But it's not going to happen.
That's what I'm-
It's
You'd rather
not going to
face
happen.
Nick Foles.
You got to face.
I would actually fear Nick Foles a little.
No, you
more
would.
than
Stop
Carson
it.
Wentz.
Wow.
I would.
Wow,
'Cause
Skip.
how about that 6'6" guy from Austin, Texas?
No.
6'6"?
He's a big guy.
Yeah.
Really big.
Carson with that old,
6'6".
he's that big, ooh, redhead, ooh,
By the way,
fire.
I'm going to
big
point
and
this
can
out
move.
again. When Nick Foles came out of Austin Westlake High School, he was recruited to play basketball at the University of Texas and at Baylor, which are pretty good basketball schools. So he's not unathletic. I don't know what you viewed him. I'm not saying he's athletic.
He not,
Decent.
Yeah.
he not like Carson Wentz.
Good enough.
He's not Michael
The
Vick,
red
but, you know.
bazooka.
Yeah.
The
All
red
The
bazooka.
red bazooka. Stop it. So if I just told you that there was this guy named Joe Smith or somebody, and
Okay.
he had a career of 66 touchdown passes to only 29 interceptions as a National Football League starting quarterback, 66 to 29. And he had one year when he threw 27 to only 2 interceptions. And if I told you this same guy had played 3 playoff games, and in each of those he had put his team in position late to win, and won 2 of them and should have maybe won the first one that he played, but in those 3 playoff games, he's 5 touchdowns to 0 picks. So he's played 3 big playoff games, 0 picks.
Okay.
And in the playoff games, he's completed 75% of his passes, which, you know, that's hard to
That's
do.
really
man.
good. 3/4, yeah, that's really good.
It's hard to do. And if I told you that guy was Nick Foles, you'd say, oh, but he's got a stigma attached. He got stamped with the label. He's a backup quarterback. And I'm saying, this is really good. So to Jenny's hypothetical, let's just do. What if he happens to do to the Patriots what he did to the #1 ranked defense out of Minnesota in Philadelphia in the NFC Championship game? That was a torch job, man. Every time I looked up, he was throwing another
very
bomb
efficient.
to somebody, right?
Very efficient.
Everything was right on the money. And there's a lot of pressure. You know that pressure. It's just huge, man.
If I was Nick Foles, I would be thinking about this platform right now. What do I do going into the 2018 season? And if I was the Philadelphia Eagles, I would come to him early and say, listen, Nick, if we win this game, we would consider bringing you back as a backup because we think that's the best position for you right now, the best opportunity. And then in 2019, when he have a chance to hit the free agency market, then he can go become a free agent and make his money. And as of right now, he can win the Super Bowl. The city will love him. He'll never have to pay for a cheesesteak again.
No, he wouldn't have to pay for it.
Wrong with that?
But seriously, what if you became one of only 2 quarterbacks to beat Tom Brady head-to-head in the Super Bowl? Eli Manning lucked into the first
No,
one. He did.
okay, what about the second one?
He made one good throw to Manningham. I'll give him that one. But Brady made one. He had one bad throw in his whole Super Bowl career, and that's the only reason he survived in that game. Eli did.
Why you do that, Skip?
I'm just telling you the truth.
You ain't telling no truth.
What if Nick Foles throws another party Sunday up in Minnesota?
gonna be
What if he does?
And they'll have a parade on Tuesday. Everybody will be happy. But as soon as Carson Wentz
know
is
what?
healthy, he
Resume
will be
normal.
the
I
Thank you.
got to tell you, just my gut feeling on this, and I'm not the biggest Carson Wentz guy, I have my doubts Carson Wentz could do what Nick Foles has done in these playoffs.
You stop it,
I
Skip.
have my
I
doubts.
thought about that too, Skip. I'll be honest. Like, if the roles was reversed, then it was the ideal situation that the Eagles would want to be in, and Carson Wentz was out there as a starter. Would it look the same as what Nick did?
And?
Would the game plans look the same? And would he be able to compete and play at a high level?
And
like
your
Nick?
conclusion was?
Yes, he would.
You know, maybe not.
I
I
don't
think
know.
he was leaning the other way.
I don't
What's
know.
holding you back from that? What do you?
I mean, it's the unknown, but I think the game plans in the playoffs was designed for Nick, and it was perfect game plans. I always thought that Doug Peterson having 2 weeks to prepare for the Atlanta Falcons was not a good thing for the Atlanta Falcons because that gave him time to really go back and find the things that Nick really did well. And, you know, it would have been the same with Carson Wentz, so I couldn't say, but it was more that he can do with Carson Wentz.
Yeah, Carson 33 and 7.
But
extended
Carson
plays.
Wentz will try things. He will gamble in ways
Will
Nick
do
Foles
things.
does not gamble.
How you think he got the name, Skip? Walk it to him.
I don't even know what that means.
You know what it means.
I don't know what it means. It's the lamest nickname I've ever heard.
What does that mean?
Them 50-yard passes, like long handoffs.
Oh,
He walks it. He walks
You
it.
know
Extension.
what? You know what?
Extension.
I think we should move your nickname along to Nick Foles. It's Walk It To Him Foles.
No, it ain't.
Yeah, it is. Did you see him walk it to him in that NFC Championship?
I mean, he might get a small town in Philadelphia. He might get a small town named after him or something like that.
Philadelphia. I like that.
But Skip, you know what's going to happen.
I think you're in trouble. If
you
win
know
this
what's going to
game.
happen.
Yeah.
But Nick will win this game. He'll probably maybe be Super Bowl MVP. I think it'll probably be some defensive player. But even if that happens, as soon as Carson's knee is healthy, he's up under center.
You realize you can't win this game because if Tom Brady wins, you're in trouble. And if Nick Foles wins, you're in bigger trouble because now you got a big quarterback.
No,
controversy.
Good point.
You stop trying to make it a quarterback controversy. There is no
It
controversy.
will be.
I think
It
I
just will
I think
be.
I just fell in love with Carson Wentz play. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Really?
Carson, Wentz, Avania.
I'm going to win.
Carson Wentz,
Yeah.
hey, that was good.
Wentz, Avania.
Yeah, W-I-N-C.
You know what's going to happen.
Huh?
That's what he doing to Dak Prescott, but for the next 10
Hey.
years. Pop,
You
pop.
just give Dak one receiver that
You got
Carson walked
Dez.
to him. Huh?
Michael Irvin said that. Michael Irvin, who you swear by is the greatest receiver ever, said Dez is that
Michael
guy.
is defending his namesake and his number's sake. Yeah, that's what he is. He's number 88. He's going to always defend an 88.
They said the Cowboys would be stupid if they got rid of Dez.
Yeah. Did Dak have an Alshon? No. Did he have an Aguilar? Did he have a Torrey Smith?
He makes more than both of
Did
them.
he have a Zach Ertz?
He
He didn't have one of those guys.
You got Jason Witten.
Dez has to work hard this offseason and do a better job.
Whoa, hold on,
Has to do a better
What
job
you
of getting
doing,
open.
Skip? What you mean, Jason Witten and Zach Ertz? I mean, what you doing?
Well, Zach Ertz is a lot younger right now.
No.
He's in his
I
prime.
mean, what you trying to weigh? One guy
just-
got 1,100 catches and 68 touchdowns?
What have you
That's
done
that
for
tight
me
end talk,
lately?
Skip. That's that tight end talk.
Lately.
What kind of break you down?
Zach Ertz is being underrated in this game. He is really good.
What kind of fan
I
are
mean,
you?
he's not.
He might be the X factor.
Huh? He's not quite Gronk and Travis Kelce, but he's right in that next group.
Well, Burton, he was with the Patriots.
I like him.
He was with
I
the
like
Patriots. They released him.
Okay.
So he got revenge in his eyes.
Yeah. I mean, Wentz had weapons. Dak had nobody.
No, he got weapons.
Dak had nobody who could even get open.
Those were the same guys. The only thing changed.
Same guys.
Yeah.
They're all new.
No, they're not.
Huh? Alshon is new.
No.
Torrey Smith is
No, I'm
new.
talking about Dak.
Oh.
Dak had the same guys when he threw for 23 and 4 that he had the next year. But they removed one thing, that hedge, that was 21.
Yeah, what was the difference between the 2016 Cowboys and the 2017 Cowboys?
Well, a whole lot of things.
Zeke.
Offensive line was horrible. Number 88 just lost it
They
completely.
lost Zeke for 6 games.
Zeke! Everybody knows it's
Sean
Sean.
Lee was gone.
Oh, man.
Got out to a slow start.
What I'm learning quickly is that no matter what, we always come back to the
We all,
Cowboys.
he can't.
Ain't no heat. Ain't
We
no
always-
He's
heat.
it up.
Ain't
He's
no
a,
heat.
He's a closet Cowboy lover.
Y'all not going to be winning the division anytime soon.
See what
Either
the
way,
Philadelphia
it's
Eagles
good.
did?
Plenty to talk about. Michael,
Philly.
thank you for joining us.
No mercy.
Tom Brady retirement talk has been one of the big stories of Super Bowl week. Yesterday, Patriots president Jonathan Kraft said Brady will get to decide when he calls it quits. And Tom was asked about it as well. Let's take a listen.
Why does everyone want me to retire so bad? I don't get it. I'm having fun. The team's doing good. I know I'm a little bit older than most of the other guys, but I'm really enjoying it. I obviously enjoy the experience of playing in this game. This has been, obviously a dream come true, many times over. And, it takes a lot of hard work to get here. Our team, I think, is, working hard. We had a good practice today. We're going to need a couple more good ones. We're playing against, great football teams. So I'm not thinking about retirement. I'm thinking about the Super Bowl and trying to win the most important game of the year.
I just love how he says it with a smile, always. All right, Shannon, how will it end for Brady in New England?
Tom, Giselle on line 1. Come home, Tommy.
You don't think he's going to listen to that?
No, he ain't listened to it over the last couple of years, so I think he go stiff arm her one more time and try to play a couple of more years. Skip, I said 2 more years. His contract, he has a contract for 2 more years. I believe he plays those 2 more years. Skip, but you know what I really see? I really see the other trying to outlast the other so they can put to bed once and for all who deserves the credit.
Yep.
That's what I see really going on at the bottom of this. Coach Belichick, I believe it's a lot easier to coach because you're not taking those blows. I mean, it's mentally draining because Coach Belichick is really doing everything. He's drafting the players, he's scouting for, free agency, he's doing all that, and he's coaching the football team. Tom is basically running the offense, trying to keep his body in shape to absorb those hits. So none one big hit will put him down for any substantial amount of time. His time, I believe his time, you believe his time would have been up had Jimmy Garoppolo remained on this roster because he was going to be a free agent after this year. And Mr. Kraft instructed Coach Belichick to trade Jimmy. And that's, I think, when all hell, for all intents and purposes, broke loose between this big three here in New England.
Yep.
I believe Coach Belichick coaches longer than Tom Brady plays, but I really see a scenario where both guys are trying to outlast the other because the other knows if I go win the Super Bowl without you, I'm going to get the lion's share of the credit. And Coach Belichick says if I go win one without you, I'm going to get the lion's share of the credit. But Coach Mr. Kraft said there's tension.
Yep.
How much tension remains to be seen. We'll know a lot more after this ball game in the preceding months. In the coming months.
Yesterday, Robert Kraft said that the decision to retire will be Tom Brady's, that he's going to leave it up to him. You called the shot. That cannot happen because I hark back to a quote from his father, which was back in 2015. This is Tom Sr., and he said to the New York Times, "This will end badly. I know it will because Tom wants to play until he's 70. So he's saying it's going to have an ending that Tom isn't going to like because he won't want to stop. Somebody's going to have to tell him to stop, and that somebody's going to have to be his other quote-unquote father, Robert Kraft.
Correct.
Whether he likes it or not, whether Tom likes it or not, the buck is going to stop ultimately on that owner's desk, not on Belichick's desk, because he already got overruled.
He already got shot down, yep.
Yeah, he got shot down. But the owner is going to have to tough love Tommy, and he's just, at some point, obviously, Father Time will win.
Yeah.
Now, I think it'll be 4 more years because that's what he says. I'm going to play until I'm 44, 45. But the point is, in this case, at some point, you'll start to see some decline. I see no decline at this point. And again, I think he can play at a Super Bowl MVP caliber level. I think for 4 more seasons just because I think he's pretty much figured it out. Now, catastrophic injury, that could put a whole damper on this thing, take it in a whole new direction. But if he does stay relatively healthy, then it's going to be up to the owner to say, I'm sorry, you have to go home now.
Yeah.
Seriously. And it's going to come down to that because you can't leave it Tom's hands or he'll be playing at a lower level until he's 50.
Skip, what was the name of that movie? I think it was Tom Hanks. He played the guy that was in the airport. He slept in the airport. I think it was Heathrow or
I know
Terminal.
what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, and he stayed there for
Terminal.
Yeah, like, bruh.
Yeah.
You've been here for a long time.
you
It's time to
gotta
go.
go.
You got to go.
Yeah.
So Coach Belichick is basically gonna have. Coach Belichick, Mr. Kraft's gonna have to say, Tommy, I thank you for everything you've done.
Yeah.
You've put us on the map. You've made us a cornerstone franchise.
Yeah.
Bruh. Go home.
Because I believe the father said at one point back in 2015, this is before Alex Guerrero kicked in with the new philosophy, but Tom Sr. said, you're going to have to put a straitjacket on him to pull him off the field. Well, I believe that.
Yeah.
But he's willing to do whatever it takes off the field to stay ready to play on the field.
On the field, correct.
Okay, but you know and I know, just as you experienced, pretty soon your body's just going to say, I can't do it anymore. I'm doing it really well here right now, but at some point you're going to get a big no from your body. And it might be a serious injury. I'm knocking on wood because I don't want to see that happen.
Nope.
But at some point, you just know beyond. I can see Belichick walking away before Tom does. I don't know how much longer Belichick wants to do this with Brady. I just don't.
I think both are trying to outlast the other.
Sure. Yeah. So, big picture, I'm not going to bet against this guy for 4 more years, and
2.
you are. But you're just rooting against him. Yeah, you are.
2. Huh? That's 20 years with one franchise.
Okay, but who's what did he say to Tom House when we saw in the documentary, Tom versus Time? They're out on the field, and I'm not going to obviously say the word, but we were talking about age, and he said, I don't give a you-know-what about age. Well, he doesn't, and he is defying it. And the guy you just saw in the interview session, that sweet Tom Brady, the man next door.
The smile.
Yeah, that's not the guy who's going to be out there on the field on Sunday.
And he's doing everything he can to make sure 40's the new 20. And he's making it. He's making it.
Yeah, you can get body polish and facial scrubs and all that aromatherapy and go to these wellness clinics. Father Time, he has an unlimited supply of timeouts, and he'll keep calling them till he catch your
But
butt.
Tom's got pliability going.
Whatever.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft, in for Joy Taylor. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.